Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. Okay, more stuff coming out that we need to pay attention to. And of course, the analysis that we get in the media, they've got to figure something out, misses the big picture altogether. And we're going to talk about illegals again. Go figure. But this time, it could get very concerning, very worrisome. Now you think about it. What have we seen problems with all the illegal aliens? Yes, that's the correct term for them. In the U.S. Well, we're getting all the MS-13 guys in, all the TdA guys in. They weren't vetted. They've had some good time to start setting up operations in the United States. Gang members from primarily Central America. Okay. South America, Northern South America and Central America. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Maybe it doesn't affect you. Hey, nobody in my family is a drug addict using fentanyl or, buying cocaine or smoking dope or whatever. Okay. So not going to affect you, or so you think. We've seen all the, how do you want to put it, bombings, I guess, if you will, of all these cigarette boats. I think we're up to 19 now that the U.S. military has taken out in the Gulf, in the Pacific, basically east or west, doesn't matter. The whole Caribbean area, the whole Pacific area. All right, both sides of the country. Most of us, including me, absolutely support the fact that we're blowing the crap out of these boats and putting all those drugs at the bottom of the ocean, right? I don't know how fentanyl affects fish. But then, of course, you get the UN. The United States needs to stop doing this. It's inhumane. Yeah, because selling drugs and killing people with poison is so humane, right? Got it. Okay. You get rid of a problem. You don't just ignore it. That seems to be the UN's way of doing things. If we close our eyes, maybe it won't happen anymore. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. Right. So now we have a little bit more escalation in all of this. Starting last week, you had the Ford Carrier Group, USS Gerald Ford, the aircraft carrier. The whole carrier group moved down into the Caribbean. Okay, so they're all down there. And they can kind of patrol the waters, do whatever. Good. That's a positive. Now you can get planes, get helicopters out there helping the Coast Guard, blowing up boats, right? But now we're finding out that a ground war is potentially being considered. The Marines have now reinitiated training, jungle warfare training, doing it in Panama. We stopped doing this 25 years ago. Okay? But now the Marines are going to train with tactics learned in the Vietnam War. Because that's pretty much the last time we had jungle warfare. And what you're going to get in Venezuela is pretty simple. Sources out of Washington, supposedly, are saying that, well, the official statement is that, no, there's going to be no invasion force. Marines are training how to take over airfields, how to take over ports, and how to take over the oil infrastructure of Venezuela. You got to remember, Venezuela is one of the richest countries in the world in oil. Okay. Used to be one of the richest countries in the world altogether, and then, of course, they elected Nicolas Maduro, and the country is now one of the poorest countries, at least in South America. Okay. New York, that's your future. Congratulations. But so how does this move forward? Well, let's see. We have reports that the Russians have been providing Venezuela with air defense artillery. It's interesting because you'd think that Russia's kind of preoccupied with something else going on, but apparently they're able to help Maduro. Okay. But this is where it comes in. Besides the point of, I don't think Venezuela is a big enough target where you'd ever see a draft or anything like that. Okay, so I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is retaliation. Okay. That you have all these gang members, all these Venezuelan nationals who have no allegiance to the United States. The only reason they are here is to cause mayhem, sell drugs, kill people, child traffic, and they're here. Millions of them who are well armed, well connected, and well funded. You know, talk about an invading force. Biden let them in. They're already here with now 2, 3, 4, 5 years to organize, to plan, to do whatever. We're experiencing a communist takeover, a potentially violent takeover. And a lot of people in this country are blindfolded. Politicians, judges, the public, the media, of course, won't tell them. But when you start putting this stuff together and you think about it, what do we have going on? We've got a Muslim invasion. We've got a communist invasion. We have a narcotics invasion. We have problems all the way up to nearly the highest echelon of U.S. government supporting this crap. You hear Democrats, and some of them, legalize drugs. Because that's worked out so well in California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado. It's worked out so well for them, right? If we legalize the drugs, we'll get rid of the crime. Crime's up, all right, in all of those states drastically. People have fried their brains. But it's legal to do. Great, you know. I don't care. It's all the other people, and this is my biggest beef with pretty much everything that goes on. You hear the Democrats scream all the time, democracy, 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 right? Even though we're a constitutional republic. But democracy is mob rules. The 51% get to decide for the 49%, right? Sure. I don't think you have 51% of this country that wants drugs, opioids, fentanyl, freely available on the street. Use Obamacare as an example. The 30 million people got to rule over the 300 million people. We don't have health insurance. They need to pay for it. Tell me how that's democracy. 30 is certainly not 51% of 330 million. And we've got the same problem here. I'm not a proponent of going in and doing regime change of these endless wars that the U.S. You've heard me say it a million times. We are not the world's police force. I'm sick and tired of doing this. It drives me absolutely nuts when I see we've got military bases all over the freaking world that we pay for to protect somebody else. Personally, I don't care if Venezuela falls. That's their own damn problem. You want to fix your country? You want to get rid of Maduro? Do it yourself. It's funny. 250 years ago, we wanted to get rid of King George. We did it ourselves. Okay? Not that I was there, sure, but okay. But they have weapons. Whose fault is that you don't? Oh, guns are bad. Only the government should have them. Well, here's a good example, real quick, why the Second Amendment is so very important. Because, gee, I don't know, the Jews learned during World War II what happens when you disarm yourself. Okay? Guess what? The same thing's going to be happening everywhere else. If we send the Marines in to get rid of the drugs, I'm fine with it. Blow every one of these damn cigarette boats up, I'm good with that. But I'll tell you what, we need to have a real serious conversation in this country about getting rid of, cleaning house of the bad elements that we have that are trying to bring in Sharia law, that are trying to bring in socialism or communism. This needs to be eradicated immediately. And the sad part is, if the government's not going to do it, we have to. Because I want to give you this as an idea. The first step of all of this will be the government falls, whether we fall economically or just collapse from infighting. And then there is no government to call. Then it is up to you and me. If we want to save this country, y'all better be ready to do it yourself. Because we're on the verge of civil war, we're on the verge of revolutionary war, and we're on the verge of world war, all at the same time. Pinball out.